Hey everybody, I want to go over the first assignment with a short tutorial on the technical aspects in Designer. So the first thing that we're going to start with is creating a new document in Designer. So here in Designer, choose New, and because we're not going to be using any of these default settings, we're going to use we're going to create our own custom size, which is 10 inches wide by 10 inches high. So over here, you'll see these are the specs for this project. It's a 10-inch by 10-inch square. And so that's what we're going to do here, 10 by 10, 300 DPI is fine. And important is to check this create artboard box. And I'll explain that in a little bit. So I'm going to create this artboard. And now let's do all of the work that we need to do for all 5 of these artboards on the first artboard. Then we can copy and paste them into each artboard, which will save a lot of time. And one of the first things that I want to do is to look at my margin on the left, which is asking for a 2-inch margin. So actually what we can do here is we can go to View Guides, and we can add a guide here. And if you remember, I had this problem earlier. Let's see if I can. There we go. So you can just double click in the box here and then use the up or down arrow on your keyboard to move the guide to position. And the position you want is 2 inches. All right, so you can say close there, and now you've got this guide here, which will help you to position your left margin on all of these. And you'll notice that the very first baseline for your display type is shown at 2.5 inches. By the way, excuse me. The measurements here for this project include both inches and points. So you're going to want to change your ruler up here in the upper left-hand corner where it says inches. You can left click or right click. I'm left-handed, so I'm always going to say the opposite, but you can right click to change to points or picas. Now let's try this 2.5-inch horizontal by coming back here to guides. And this time we're going to add a horizontal. There we go. And let's see, did that? That's now, there it is. And we want it to be 2.5 inches. Let's see, it's going to be, if I can. There we go. So you can actually double click inside this box in the guides panel to change it to 2.5 inches. And then we can close this. And now we have our horizontal guide. Now we need 2 more guides, actually. We need one for the display type, the all cap display type, and then for the baseline of the first line of text type. And these are in points. So let's see if I can change this by right clicking to points and then go back to the guide. Maybe I can use the guide panel to add these in. So I want to add another guide in here, horizontal. And this is where I kind of got to do a little bit of math. So 180 is the first horizontal, which was also known as 2.5 inches. So 180 plus 72. Let me use my calculator for that. 80. So 252. All right. So actually, I could probably just type it in there. There we go. And I'm going to add another one. And that one will be 252 plus another 72. So I need to get to 324. And I know this is a little bit. All right, there we go. And we can close this. So now we have our guides. And the next step was to create our display type. So you can use either the artist, for the display type, you could use the artistic text tool because you're not creating a frame like you are for the text box underneath. And now you can highlight this and you can come up to your character menu. And I have Garamond, and I think it's 72. There we go. And if you have that snapping panel, if you have the snapping on, enable snapping, and you can choose snap to, you don't want to choose snap to grid because we don't have the grids shown right now, but you can check snap to guides, or any of these is fine. I think the default is just fine for that. And now we're going to create another line of display, which is all cap. You can come back over here and do it by selecting the artistic text tool again, or you can save a little bit of time and just select what you've already created and copy and paste it. Now notice over here on the right of these drop downs, there's always a quick key. So this is what's available on your keyboard to save you time from having to always, scramble up here to the menu. Right. And now I've got, and now what I can do is I can choose over here, I can choose all caps. In typography, it's under the character, it's in the character panel. You can do that, or you can just come back here and type it with all caps with the shift key down. And then we have this third section here, which is the body copy. And I don't have my, other folder open that tells me what that width is supposed to be. I think it's in picas. It looks like it's supposed to be 20 picas. All right. So now we're going to create a text box, and you can position it. Oh, sorry. I did not select the text box. Oh. I mean, you want to select the frame text tool, excuse me. And then here you're going to look for, before you do that, you want to change your ruler once again to picas. And the reason why you want to do that is because the call out box is going to tell you when you get to 20 picas. And notice it's not quite exactly 20 picas. That's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over here to the transform window, and I'm going to actually force it into 20 so that it's exact. So now I know my text, my frame is exactly 20 picas. And just for the sake of saving time, you would copy the text from the assignment in La Lima, but I'm just going to copy it here from the previous demo that I did in class on Wednesday. So this is the text box. It's now at a width of 20 picas. Don't worry about the height. You just want enough height so that you're not losing any of the text. And you want to follow the directions on the paragraph panel under justification. Let's see. Up here, actually, at the very top, you want to make sure, again, as we mentioned before, it's justified to the left. And then you want to make some of your own decisions here about the leading and what you want that leading to be. And so that's more a design choice that you're going to make for turning this in. So now I'm completed with everything I need here, and I'm going to duplicate this to the other 4 artboards so that I can create all 5 of my projects with the different fonts. And I'm going to use the artboard tool, and this is where what I had done before is, as I'm dragging this out, you click in the upper left-hand corner, and then you drag down to the lower right-hand corner when you're creating a new artboard. But what you want to do is hold that shift key down, so you forced the program to create artboards that are 10 inches by 10 inches. And actually, I'm going to go back up here just to show you. Right, this is 10 inches by 10 inches. Now, if you get an artboard that's not 10 inches by 10 inches, you can see over here under transform, this is a panel that you'll use, I think, quite frequently. It really helps. You can fix that to 10 by 10. And for some reason, it doesn't show me the vertical alignment, just because I want to like get it vertical, right? Okay, so now I've got all of my artboards. And if you actually look under the layers menu, you'll see all of these artboards. If you are inclined to be, super specific, let's see if that works. Yeah, so you could change these artboards, rename them. All you do is double click. You get to the layer panel, you choose the layer, and then, you choose the artboard, and then you just double click on top, and you could say, I forgot what those were. So anyways, that could change that. It doesn't really matter because when you export this to a PDF, nobody's going to see the name of the artboard. So we want to copy this artwork over to each of these other artboards just to save time, even though we're going to change these all out to different typefaces. Copy, and then you can just activate right here, and then you can go to edit, paste inside. You can go to the artboard 3, edit, paste inside. Artboard 4, edit, paste inside. Look how easy that is. And then the final artboard, edit, paste inside, right? So now you've got all of these copied, but what you need to do is you need to change out your typefaces. So you could do that by just holding down the shift key and grabbing all of the content on that artboard. And that does change that out, but of course your titles don't change out. In order to do that, you're going to have to actually get in there and actually retype it. And I don't have different text for each of these text. The text style, I don't have that, so you're just keeping that as it is, even though it talks about Garamond here. And then at this point, once you've got all of that sort of grunt work done for this assignment, then what you want to do is you really want to get into, as I mentioned in the course, in the class, you really want to get in there and look at what kinds of adjustments you want to make to the display type, both the upper lowercase and the all cap, with regards to letter spacing. There's no word spacing because there's only one word, but letter spacing, and then kerning if you find that the kerning is tight. That'll be another thing that you want to work on. So kerning would be just placing that cursor between the two characters that you want to adjust and going to the character panel and then using this kerning feature here. And I might want to, in this instance, I might want to give it I probably adjust it 20, 30, 5, 25%. But then in other instances, like the L and the E, this kerns quite loose. So you might want to pull it in a little bit. So you want to do the opposite. You actually want to kind of tuck it in, maybe 40%, whatever you think is right. It's a little bit of work. The thing is, you're looking at each of these and the space that's between them, and you're trying to even them out so that the characters don't feel like a couple of them are too close together and others are farther apart. So look at the B and the A there, right? It seems a little bit more work and time consuming with the upper and lower case display type as opposed to the all caps. But I'm not sure if that carries across to all of the different font families that you're going to be working on for this project. So that's it in a nutshell. I'll stop sharing and post this in the resources folder.